All right, I'm ready. Ready.
Here we
Oh
go.
my
They're
God.
loading.
We got a
Oh,
couple. I missed one right before I pressed go. Okay. Happy Tech Tuesday. Uh, how's everybody doing? Everybody doing good? I can't tell because nobody's camera's on.
my camera's
We're
on.
doing awesome.
Phenomenal.
Right? You know what's awesome about Tuesday is that it's not Monday. Yes. Just
Alive,
kidding.
excited, and full of energy. I'm going to keep it from
I
here.
actually love Mondays.
I
Like
do too.
I'm kind of weird like that. I'm like, oh, here's my fresh start. Here's my fresh start. Time to crush it.
That's
So,
awesome.
all right. Well, I'm excited that you guys are here because we are all going to be learning today because I have no idea what Fyxer is. All I
Okay,
know
I'm going to hit record. Wait, no, I can't. Wait, why can't I hit record? There we go.
do you got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Okay, perfect. All right, we are recording. We are live on YouTube. We have Jesse in the room. We are ready to rock and roll. Jesse, thank you so much for coming. He is my other very good techie friend, right? So everybody should be super techie on Tuesday because that's what Tuesday is all about. But when he said that if you hate emails, you will love this. I was like, well, I do hate emails. That's why I have a Joanna. So I told Joanna she needs to pay attention to this because this could probably help her. So she just marks the ones that are super important that I have to deal with. But I can't wait to learn about Fyxer. So, Jesse, it is all yours. I'm going to give you driving privileges so you can share screen if you want. And thank you.
Fantastic. I got a lot of stuff to share. And I was tempted to dive right into Fixer without saying anything about myself or my background or email or why it matters for real estate agents. But it's so simple to use Fixer that I can literally cover it in like probably 10 minutes. So I want to give you a little background and context so that you'll know why it matters. Everybody's on camera. Raise your hand if that's okay with you. Not to go in depth as much. Like I am really techie and I'm a real estate nerd. Like I'm a self-described real estate nerd. I've been doing this for over 20 years. And I always laugh when I hear people say, I've been doing this 20 years as if that means anything, right? Just because I've been in real estate 20 years, I could have lived the same crappy year in real estate 20 years in a row. I haven't done that. Okay. I really feel like I've learned and I've grown. And each year I've done things that so just quick background on myself, and then we'll dive into the Fixer and email. And a show of hands, how many of you love email? You're like, I love email. It's like the perfect way to no one. All right, fantastic.
Wow, that
This
was
is
a
my crew.
zero.
This is my crew. How many of you love text messages? How many of you hate communicating with people? I think you might be in the wrong industry. I'm just say anyway. All right. Wait, do you like
Yeah,
any methods of communication? I'm just curious. Like, how do you guys communicate? Someone unmute yourself and tell me. How do you like? You hate email. You hate text messages. How do you communicate?
I
Phone.
like messages through
Phone.
message.
Diane says phone. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. So phone. John's doing sign language. Sign language.
Oh
John.
my
The other people's
gosh.
texting. All right. How many of you
I,
are phone people? Raise your hand. All right, a lot of you guys are phone people. Fantastic. All right. So if you still love using the phone, congrats. You're probably in the small minority of real estate agents. Or maybe everyone says they love using the phone, but when it actually comes to day to day, no one actually uses it. Has anyone found that? Right? Isn't that strange? We're on a call here with a bunch of people who said, I love using the phone. But then when we try to call other agents, do we only have phone people on this call? Because the agents on the other side of my deals, they must never love the phone. All right. So here's what I had here's my journey with email. Okay. I actually love text messaging. I shifted most of my communication over to text messaging a few years ago. And I had a problem though with text messaging, which is you can't really delegate a text message. Those of you who have people in your back office or even other agents, like if as long as they're on an iPhone, right? They're on an iPhone, you can add them to the group. It stays blue. But other than that, it's really hard to delegate or add someone to a group on a text message. So email for business is actually a better medium of communication. You can forward it to someone in your back office. You can add other people to the chain. It just gets really overwhelming. And I think most of us dislike email. Me personally, I dislike email because of the volume of inbound emails I receive every day and the amount of time I spent just trying to sort through the garbage and the noise to find out what was actually important. I'm seeing a couple heads nodding. Raise your hand if you guys could relate to that one. Okay. So I got into real estate in 2004, and this story matters because it relates to the journey with email. So I got into real estate in 2004, did a retail business, got really into lead generation, converting online leads and doing all sorts of stuff like that. And then the market started tanking in 2008. 2009. And if you guys old enough to remember the market in 2008, 2009, right? All those bank-owned homes, the foreclosures. So I became a listing agent for the banks in 2008, 9, 10. I sold hundreds of foreclosures a year. I actually ran a networking group called DS Pros, Default Servicing Professionals, where I took REO brokers from all over the country, put them together and helped them get business. And like that was my life. And one thing I learned about the banks were they really didn't like using the phone. Like 1 in 100, you actually get someone, they call them asset managers, that would pick up the phone and call you. But everything else was email based. And there was not just 1 or 2, it was like hundreds of emails coming in. And we used to carry, 80 listings at any given time. So if you multiply the amount of emails for 80 listings, and it would scale out and got really overwhelming. So I got pretty specific on how to use email back then. And if we have time today, I might even cover some rules because I have half a book written that I never finished, but it might be time to go back and finish it someday, called the Cardinal Sins of Text, DMs, and Email, right? And other mistakes of the digital age. So fast forward, REO went away. There weren't that many foreclosures, and people started using texting more. They went away from email and they started texting. My clients started texting. Agents on the other side of deals started texting. And so I had spent a couple of years. Anyone know the concept called inbox zero? Anyone ever heard that concept, inbox zero? Where your goal is to have no emails unread at the end of the day in your inbox. And I trained my team and we were fanatical about it and everybody responded to emails. And man, it just becomes such a waste of time. It was so frustrating. So I tried different things. Like Wendy says she has a Joanna. I had a person who wasn't Joanna, had a different name, who read my email for me. I had multiple different people. I tried all different things. I tried this thing called SaneBox. Anyone ever heard of SaneBox? It's like an email filter that would filter things out. No? No one's heard of SaneBox? Anyway, it's pretty good for a while. Maybe 5, 6 years I got in SaneBox. And then about 4 years ago, I just stopped. I decided I was not going to use email anymore. And I stopped checking my email about 4 years ago. I don't know if anybody just broke out into a cold sweat hearing me say that. I'm going to say it like 3 times because I don't think some of you believe me when I said that. I stopped checking my email, period. Every maybe once a week or two, I would kind of pip in there and see if anything was jumping out. Because you know what I found? And by the way, this is not the training. This is not do what I say. This is giving the context so you understand why Fyxer is so important. What I found was if I stopped checking my email, anything truly important, people would just text me. And they would say, hey, I sent you an email last week, or I sent you an email 2 days ago. And they were a little frustrated, but I could probably count on less than 2 fingers the amount of business I lost in 4 years not checking my email. It was wild. Granted, I do have some structure in my business that I do have someone who's my version of Joanna. Her name is Autumn, who's my director of operations for my business. So when I take listings, I'm able to be a little hands off. So I do have some leverage that way, right? But truly, I just stopped checking email. Can anyone relate to that desire to not want to check email ever again?
That is so crazy.
One of you, 2 of you? Okay. I don't recommend it. It did work for me. Right? It did recommend. And then earlier this year, they released this thing called Fyxer. Fyxer. I'll put it on the screen in a minute so you can see it, but I don't have a lot of slides. I'm actually going to be using my own Gmail inbox to show this to you. Okay. Fyxer, write this down. Fyxer. And I actually started using my email again. And even more, I like my email. So I was on a call. I'm sure we have a number of agents from all different brokerages all over the thing. This is an email platform that's not just for real estate, it's for any industry, but it is specific. They've trained it within the real estate profession to optimize some of its AI, because it's an AI-based platform, meaning it actually learns the more you use it. And it understands the flow and follow-up for leads and clients in the real estate profession, as well as some other ones as well. Does that make sense? So this isn't just if anyone's ever tried Gemini, or there's some other email AI assistants that are pretty good, Fyxer blows them out of the water. And I'll show you why, right? Because of the way it sorts your email, because of the way it rewrites responses in your voice. I took months and a lot of money to train a human being to write emails like me. back in the REO days, I had a team of people that would write emails like me. Like we used to like do drills and train on like, they'd write the draft and I would train them and I'd go back and forth. This took months. You know how long it took Fyxer to start writing emails like me? Like 30 seconds, because it went through and it read all of my old emails and it learned how I talk and communicate. And so the way it drafts emails for me, and I get to pre-approve them before they send them. It doesn't send things out on my behalf. It's not like Skynet. Anybody who's a Terminator fan knows what Skynet is? No? Only two of you smiled at that. Anyway, it's not taking over the world, okay? It's just making us more efficient to respond to leads, to book appointments, to draft emails, to communication, because a lot of our communication in our transactions, raise your hand if you don't like email, but you do use it, right? In a real estate transaction. You're like, it's a necessary evil. It's actually reframed for me. It's not a necessary email. I'm actually excited to use it. And I still don't have inbox zero, by the way. You're going to see my inbox in a minute. And it provoked a lot of anxiety for me. I'm going to be honest, Wendy. It provoked a lot of anxiety for me I was like, I tried to find screenshots, but I'm like, I'm just going to use my own inbox. And like showing, if anyone ever would be comfortable sharing their inbox and diving deep into it on a live Zoom with 44 people on it, going out to even more people watching it on Facebook. Would anyone feel comfortable showing their own email inbox? Like that's a nerve-wracking thing. I don't know. Zoom is like, I'll do it. I don't know. I'm looking at your faces. I would never want to do this. So I looked through it. I'm like, I don't know what we're going to find on there. Anyway, it looks pretty good. So without further ado, here is Fyxer. And let me start here. Actually, do you have a lot of like action-oriented people, Wendy, that like just want the link that they know how to sign up and should I go there? Because I'm not an affiliate. I make no money from this. I'm literally doing this because it helped my workflow. And do you want to demo it first or just tell people where to sign up?
Both.
Okay. All right. Let me demo it first. It's a pretty quick demo, and then we'll dive into where to sign up, how to get discounts. And truly, Wendy's not an affiliate. I'm not an affiliate. No one's making any money on this other than if it helps you in your life and it makes you a more efficient agent, then fantastic. Was that a good enough? That was 12 minutes long. Is that a good enough hook that you guys like show it to me now? Like I want to see it. All right, good.
Oh, everybody wants to see it.
All right, cool. So
let's start. Joanna here. Engaging and leaning in.
All right, good. So this is my email inbox. Okay, this is my email inbox. I just want to show you what it looks like because then I'm going to jump over to the Fyxer tab. We're going to jump back and forth. You see all these little things here. By the way, I use Gmail. It does work with Outlook. It does work with other platforms. I'm not as familiar with those because I'm not a Fyxer employee. Like I'm just a real estate agent who's using this thing and I love it. So I'm going to show you Gmail, but it does work on other platforms as well. All right. Just a quick show of hands. I do find that Gmail is pretty dominant. How many of you use Gmail as your main email platform? Okay. That's like everybody, most people anyway. I get confused if someone's like, yeah, I still use Outlook. I'm like, is this 2008?
And AOL.
No, I'm not going to knock AOL. There's at least one person here who's got an AOL email address. I guarantee it. They just don't want to change. There's no judgment. Get rid of your AOL email address. It's making you look old. Anyway,
all I hear is the dial-up when I see your AOL.
Right. So this is my inbox. This is what it looks like. Okay. This is the labels. So you can see my SaneBox stuff. Ignore those. These are old labels that I used to. This is from an email system I had when I had a human being. Autumn would sort them into time sensitive and important. I would never read them. I'm telling you, Wendy, like I've tried all these things. I left this here. I was going to clean this up. I left this here to show you. This is my SaneBox filters. Like these are all these things that I've tried. The colorful ones down here, this is the ones from Fyxer. So let's jump over here to the Fyxer dashboard because I think it's easier to see here. We're going to go back and forth. So when you first sign up for Fyxer, okay, you get these email categories. You can turn them on or off. I've left on everything by default. I've literally spent less than 3 minutes customizing Fyxer. Even though I'm very nerdy and I could have done this, I'm doing this for a reason. I want you to see how even someone who's not that techie and doesn't want to spend that much time, it just works out of the box. Does that make sense, everyone?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So here's the categories that come out. It gives you to respond. These are emails that need you to respond to them. Then we've got FYI, emails that don't require a response but are important. Then we have comments. Those are when people make like chats in Google Docs. We have notifications. These are automated updates from tools we use. We have meeting updates, right? Calendar updates from Zoom, Google Meet. We have awaiting reply, emails that you've sent that you're expecting a reply to. Actioned, emails you've sent that you're not expecting a reply to, and marketing or cold emails. By the way, you can actually have it move them to specific folders, those of you that are really organized, or if you're like me, I could care less. I don't dive in any folders or do anything ever. Here's how I actually use Fyxer day to day. Now that you've seen these comments, let's just take a look and take a guess before we dive in. Use the chat box of these things you see on the screen. I can zoom this in if we need to. Hold on. Of these things that you see here on the screen, type in the chat box, which ones do you think that we want to check on a regular basis? I'll open my chat box if I'm telling you to use the chat box. Let's see here. What do you guys think we should be using? We've got to respond, FYI, comment, notification, meeting update, awaiting reply. I see a lot of to responds. Yep. That's what I'm using. If you do a lot of commenting back and forth, by the way, and you want to see comments people make, truly, I check to respond and the awaiting reply. Sometimes I'll look back in that, but it actually has an AI interface that will pop it back up in your inbox for you. You don't really have to remember it. It just pops back up. Everything else, this is my own personal system. I ignore it. Okay. I went 4 years without checking email at all. So keep that. So those of you that are more thorough than me, you might want to ignore everything else. However, you get the important stuff. It's wild. Watch this. So let's go back to my inbox.
Did you label those, or those are what they had labeled?
This is all pre-labeled. This is all out of the box. I have not touched anything.
Okay.
Notifications, if you just glance down some of these names, like I could care less about most of these. I don't need them. I don't need to know them, right? But if I go to respond, so if I click on this little label here, to respond, it's going to take me to this tab where I'm now only seeing to respond. This is a much shorter list. And by the way, I'm still not even doing that good. You can see I've got some of these back, a little ways back, because half of these I took care of and never got rid of the draft. But let's take a look at one of these here. Let's see here. Okay, Krista Bayshore, who's one of my business partners and longtime friend, right? Some of you guys know who Krista is. She had sent me this document. Hey, can you? Because I needed to print it out for an event we did last week. Krista said, "Hey there, can you please give Jesse access?" She sent this guy Vincent. Vincent sent it to me. Here it is. Hope it works. I got this PDF I'm supposed to print out. I went to the event, so I never sent this email. But this is a pre-drafted response. Hi, Vincent. Thanks for sending these over. I got PDFs. So I got the print for the workshop. I could have easily clicked send and sent that within 5 seconds. I could show you more examples of the drafts, but I just want to go back to looking at your face. Does that make sense? I did not write that email. That email was pre-drafted. So had I been looking, I was in the middle of a live event, so I didn't go back and do it. Most of the stuff I've already sent. Let me see if I can show. I should have picked out an example of something that was pre-written. Let's go see a draft. Actually, I haven't sent. Hold on. No, I don't want to share that one here. This one. Here we go. All right. Let's pull this back up on the screen. We're signing my daughter up for summer camp. This is not a work email, but you get the idea. Here's this long-winded blah, 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 blah. I don't even know what it is, okay? It auto-drafted. This is a reply sitting there in draft to both my wife and this person who's doing the summer camp. Thanks for the instructions. We'll have filled the forms for Dax and Indigo. Those are my kids' names. By this date, I'll reach out if we have any questions, except for Chemical Camp. My signature is auto put in there. I can just click send. Send. Okay. I can go through and process my email with my 2 replies with pre-written drafts. By the way, if it's even remotely like it's not sure, it'll give you 2 different drafts. One is like a positive response, one's a negative response, and you can delete the one you don't want and send it off. If it needs to be scheduling something.
And a negative.
Right, like if it's like, yes, I agree, or no, I don't agree. Because if the AI doesn't know how you should respond, it'll give you a draft that way.
Oh, wow.
If it needs to do something with your calendar, it integrates with your Google Calendar. And if someone says, hey, when's the time for us to talk? It'll say, I've got time Tuesday at 2 or 4. And it's pre-drafted. And you just send it. Or it'll insert a link, which allows them to go to your, not a Calendly link, like it's a native Fyxer link that goes to your calendar. I'll show you what that looks like in a second. And they can book time just right on your calendar. Linda's got a question. I'm going to pause right here because some of you, like I'm telling you, this is so simple. It's hard to wrap your mind around, but it's easy but hard. Linda, question, go for it.
So you got that email with these instructions. You still, and it was long, and it's like you don't have to read it, but you do need to read it because your summer camp, you need to know what you need to do, right? So you still have to read it.
Yeah, I mean, if it's something that they're telling you to do something, I'd still need to follow the instructions and fill out the forms. It's not going to go click through the links in it and fill out the forms, but if it's something where it's transactional, I wish I should have queued up something from a real estate transaction to show you. It'll take me a minute. I'll go look through and show you where someone says, hey, we're having an inspection where the person's going out. Is this okay? I need to do something. It's going to pre-draft a response to the other agent on their side that says, yeah, you can access to the house. Here's what you need, because it knows the previous chain of emails and it can respond based on that. This was a brand new email from this summer camp, and the AI doesn't know much about it other than like saying, yes, we'll fill out the forms for you.
And I'm
Does that-
assuming you CC'd your wife on it so that she could take care of filling out those forms.
She was CC'd on it. Yeah. But we would talk out loud in real life. So one of us would do
So
it. Yeah,
based on the response, then you know you got to do something.
correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah. Based on the response, you know you got to do something. I think the biggest time saver, Linda, is that it filters through every email that comes in to a handful a day that need responses. And so even if I have to take my own brain power and think about what do I do to that email with all those links, I have the time to do that because I'm not sorting through all this other stuff and trying to figure out what needs responses and what doesn't. Does that make sense? So whenever I have, so that's a good distinction there, Linda. I'll go back here to my screen share. So when I'm in this to respond inbox, any of these responses before I'm clicking send, like here was one from this event we did where someone was asking about this videographer and the proposal. Hi, Autumn. Looks good. Thanks for sending us over. All event details are correct. The date, location, and scope of work are all accurate. Let me know if you need anything else before confirming with the videographer. I wouldn't just click this if I haven't actually looked it over. Does that make sense? I'm not trusting the AI to replace me completely. It's just, but if I read this, I'm like, okay, I need to go look at this thing now and be like, okay, does this scope look correct for this? Yes, then I can send it. So it's not replacing me. It's just making me a heck of a lot more efficient. Make sense?
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, because I was worried, like it says, "Oh yeah, I'll do that," and then you don't know to
No.
do it.
No,
It's
not that savvy yet, right? When we get to that level, I'll let you know. So the next piece I'll tell you, the one quick concept, then I'll show you something else. Have you guys ever heard of the book Getting Things Done by David Allen?
Yeah.
GTD. Diane has. Anyone else heard of Getting Things Done by David Allen? No. How many of you love you're like nerdy productivity people? You're like, I want to get as efficient as possible. Raise your hand. All right. So those of you with hands up, write down the name of this book. Everyone else ignore this next 10 seconds because I'll give you the cliff notes of my favorite parts of it in about 2 minutes or less. There's a guy named David Allen who wrote a book, I think it's in the 90s, called Getting Things Done, GTD. There's like a cult-like following on the internet for getting things done. Really good book on efficiency. It was made in the 90s, but his systems, the concepts still apply today. He's got this concept called the external brain. I'm pointing at my head. This is where your brains are. Everybody point at their own head. Point at your head. This is your internal brain. Your external brain is something out here, okay? Your internal brain is good for some really important things. Connecting with people, right? Linda processing through what to do with the email, right? Like thinking like, how do we, like something like that. What it's not good for doing is like remembering things and trying to sort through large data sets. If we can leverage these things called the external brain, which back in the 90s was very different than today because of artificial intelligence and AI, Fyxer, by the way, you don't have to keep pointing at your head. Anyone's still pointing at their head, you put your hands down. Okay, make sure. All right. So those of you that are not leveraging AI, I'm assuming you are at some level. This is the simplest, easiest use for AI that I've had. This was not my own story, but there's an agent that told me this story about how he had able to use Fyxer. So he has some inbound lead generation systems. Some of them bring leads in via email. Okay, does anyone have any inbound leads via email? One of you, two of you. Okay, this might be a reason why some of us go back to having inbound leads via email. How many of you have more inbound leads via DMs and Instagram and TikTok and stuff like that? How many have inbound leads coming up those platforms? Okay, none of you? Where do you have leads? How many of you have leads coming in, period? Raise your hand. How many of you are playing with Fyxer already and you're like, I'm not listening to anything you say anymore? All right, just checking. Go. Some of you are like, I'm in. All right, so when you have inbound leads, most of us have set up some versions of autoresponders. The better they get, their behavioral base, they have different levels. So like it used to just be like a chat responder, like DM me this word, and then this whole chain gets going. Then we have AI that's kind of making them a little more intelligent. This is the first time I've ever seen with email where it's not an autoresponder because you still get to review it. And I actually think that's better for having authentic engagement. It just makes you more efficient. So this is a guy, I think he was out of Texas, where he's out. Lead came in, and it was like a Saturday morning. He told me he was playing with his kids and saw the email come in. He knows from it, and he saw the pre-written draft, and he just reviewed it, looked good, click send back in the draft. The draft said, hey, you got a question? Here's the answer. It went back to the person. Person came back and said, yeah, I'd love to take a look at this property. He said, no problem. Here's a link to my calendar. Grab a time. I'll meet you over there to take a look at it. It literally pre-drafted all this. He approved it, click send, went back. He had a scheduled showing on this property is an inbound lead, scheduled showing for the next day. He went out and showed the property, wrote an offer, got under contract within like a day and a half.
Wow.
All because Fyxer made it. And the guy told him when he met him, he said, I couldn't believe how quick you responded to me on a Saturday morning and got this thing sent. He said, I sent an email because I wasn't expecting a fast response. People use text because they expect fast responses. Email, they're not used to fast responses. He just, I'll set it out there and you'll get back to me when you get back to me. Speed is the name of the game in so much when it comes to converting leads in real estate. This allows us to be more efficient, not only at processing in transaction emails, but also inbound emails from leads. All right, I got a couple questions in the chat box. I'm going to show you a few more things on Fyxer here. Let's see. Carol
That is
says,
so funny because when we humanize that, like we overthink it. Are you pre-approved? Do you have a realtor? Blah, 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 blah. Like literally they just sent an email back to them, scheduled a freaking showing. Like instead of.
well, the cool thing is, if you usually send a set of questions to pre-approve and things, it'll learn what you're doing. It'll pre-draft that as a response also. Like if you use this, they have team versions that you have a templates that you use where you like to send off certain questions. It will learn all of those and start to use those as well. It's not just like, it's pretty like, I write short emails, so my responses tend to be shorter. Some people have more long-winded, more wordy emails. I've looked at their versions of Fyxer and the AI is drafting more long-winded, wordy responses. Is that wild? Like it learns how you write. It learns your thing. All right, so I think I answered most of the questions. Let me show you a couple more cool things. All right, so we've got awaiting reply, right? Awaiting reply. I sent this email to this guy. I actually don't need a response from this one, so I could actually just go in and delete this one. But yeah, I thought I needed a response, so I could check in with him. Hey, Steve, just wanted to circle back and see if you had a chance to check out that doc or prefer the video version. Happy to send whichever works best for you. Let me know. I didn't write that. This is a draft sitting in the inbox that Fyxer wrote for me. I can easily click send, right? Let's send it. There you go. I just sent it to him, right? Like, I just think it's so cool. So that's the email categories. It relates to your calendar. And then the next feature it does, here, Bolly wants to see we have discount codes. So I'll show you this one thing, then I'll give you discount codes and how to get it for free and all that good stuff. We've got meetings here. We've got meeting transcriptions. So I run an organization called the Agent Collective. We do a department head tactical meeting. It's a fancy name we call it. We get together once a week with my back office staff. I'll show you what this looks like when you zoom back out. So again, I feel like I have to keep saying this. I did not do anything to set this up. I just clicked Fyxer to turn it on and everything else was let in. Fyxer has a little AI bot that goes into Zoom with you. As long as it's on your calendar, it reads your calendar for you. It sends the AI bot to the meeting. So a lot of other platforms do that. That's not incredibly unique, but I like the way it integrates. I like that also when it starts to sit in on your meetings, it learns what you're talking about so it can help draft better responses. That's the cool part of how it all syncs up, right? Now, if someone doesn't let AI bots in, like Wendy, I noticed in this meeting, it said AI bots can't come in, which is fine, right? Because this is a tech meeting for humans, not a tech meeting for bots, apparently. That's okay, right? We'll do no, that's a joke, Wendy. Anyway, so Fyxer couldn't come to this meeting or else you'd see my little Fyxer AI here, but I'll show you the transcript. So it does this transcript of this meeting. Here's the purpose of the meeting. Like it listened to the whole meeting and decided what the purpose was. It gave me a bunch of different updates. Here's what we talked about. Here's the time code. I could actually jump to the recording if I wanted to. Here's the time codes. Here's the blockers. What could be in the way? Here's our action items from the end of the meeting. It summarizes action items. Since this is a fairly long document, I could literally go over here in the chat and I could ask it questions to look through and sort through here, right? Summarize the key decisions. Write me a follow-up email. Who's responsible for what? And then it emailed me this nifty document, right? It sent this to my email as well. Here's the summary of this meeting, same thing I just showed you. And then it already drafted a response to my team, right? Hi, Autumn, Brent, Rents, AE. Thank you for your time and input to the meeting. Here's finalization. We prepare for this mastery event. Like let's do this, this, and that. It pre-drafted this response to my team. Does anyone else think this is cool besides me?
That is
one of you, two of you, a lot of you. Okay. This is why I said, I told Wendy, I called her this morning. I'm like, this isn't an hour-long call, by the way. I could stretch this to an hour. I could tell stories, but I'm telling you, this is like 10 minutes long and you already get the basics of it. And that's all you need. Some of you are going to get way fancier than this than me. And I support you. So I'm going to give you one more quick tip. I'll give you the links, but Wendy, you got a question?
Yeah, so the reason we don't let bots in is because the bots record and then they mess up our recording. So that's why we stopped doing that. If we could figure out how to record on top of another bot recording, I'd let
You
them
can.
all in.
I'm pretty sure you can.
Yeah, so okay, maybe it was because we thought we were recording. Like Joanna
Yeah.
thought I was pressing it, I thought she was
Yeah,
pressing,
no,
and then someone else was
that's
recording.
that's human error. I did that the other day. That's the most confusing thing is if a bot's in there, it shows it's recording, but you're not actually recording to your local drive or to the cloud.
Right. So we
I,
just
I
okay, so if they were to come in and press record and then we pressed record, we would still get the recording. Yes.
absolutely would. But
Ah.
then again, from a call like this, I don't know if you need bots here, right? Like you put out so much recordings and details, like, and that depends on your as a Zoom host. That depends. Here, can we mute? Can I have power to mute? I get some background sound here. Thank you. All right, cool. As the host, and how many people here run Zoom calls? Right? I think it's your choice whether you want the bots in or not. I was making a joke that this is a Tech Tuesday call, but I actually like that there's no bots here. I think it's weird when you end up, because when people send their bots, they stop showing up in person. And then you end up talking to a bunch of bots. I've done a call where I had like 6 bots and me. I'm like, this is a really, really engaging call. This is so fun.
It's so annoying. I showed up to
Right.
one and me and the speaker were the only 2 people off camera.
Right.
And everybody else was a black screen.
Yeah. So I don't think it's okay to have no bots on this. I don't think the bots need to be everywhere, but I think there are meetings where so here's when I'm using bots. Can I give you one little hack, one little cool thing to do with this? And then I'll show you the codes to sign up and everything. How many of you do, when you meet a buyer for the first time, a buyer consultation? Anyone do a buyer consultation? Cool. Keep your hand up if you ever do them over Zoom. Some of you, yeah, a lot of you. I do almost all my buyer consultations over Zoom these days. Okay. How about listing appointments? When you go to list a house, how many of you do a listing appointment? I'm assuming most of you list. Yeah, that's much. How many of you do your listing appointments over Zoom?
If they don't live here.
So I shifted to doing, I'd say 90% of my listing appointments over Zoom, and I've done that since COVID started, and I never went back to in person. Totally separate discussion. We could debate the merits of why some people tell me I'm insane. It's been pretty effective. I truly believe that sellers could care less about meeting me. They want to know I can sell their house for the most amount of money in the least amount of time. And if I can do that effectively over Zoom, and I'm differentiating myself because every other knucklehead is driving there in person. And I literally say, every other agent probably drove to your house and walked around the house and had you give them a tour and it took you about half an hour, right? Wasted your time, right? What do you really want to know? That I can sell your house for the most amount of money in the least amount of time. And I'm going to do that over Zoom because I'm far more efficient than almost any other agent you're going to meet. And that's one of the points of differentiation. I'm going to save you time as well. So I set it up as a positive also because I just don't want to drive over there, right? But truly, I have them give me a tour of the house via video before I get on Zoom. I say, go, here's what we're going to do before we walk around the house. Because I'm going to come look, once you hire me, I will come look at your house in person. Hey, once you hire me, I'll come look at your house in person so we can see what it looks like so we can price it appropriately. But you're not hiring me to price your house. You're hiring me because I can sell it for the most amount of money in the least amount of time. And you can interview me over Zoom to do that. But I still would like to look at, just know what your house looks like. So do me a favor. Walk me around your house. Give me a little video and send it over to me so I can watch it before we get on Zoom. Or I do it live on FaceTime. But usually I have them send me a video. When they send you a video, how long do you think that video is? Someone put up fingers. Take a guess. Kimbrough says 10 minutes. Debbie says 3 minutes, 4 minutes, right? Usually it's like 2 to 4 minutes long. And when you're in person walking around someone's house, how long is the tour?
Like 20 minutes.
20 minutes, half an hour. And by the way, I get it. I'm a sales trainer as well. When you're walking around the house, that's your time to ask questions and bond and build rapport. I understand that technique. I've done it for years. I used to have an hour to 2 hour long listing appointments. There's no right or wrong here. I'm just saying, depending on your personality style, those of you that are looking for ways to shorten things down and still be effective and take listings, I moved over to do it via Zoom. I get the video in advance. So here's the benefit from a Fyxer standpoint, from an AI standpoint, if you're doing a buyer consultation over Zoom, which by the way, I get why listings, some people like going in person. For buyer consultations, oh my goodness, there's no reason to do them in person. Like if you can't build rapport over Zoom these days, I need to give you a separate training on building rapport over Zoom because truly you can differentiate yourself with your value proposition as a buyer's agent without meeting them in person. And when you do it over Zoom, you have your AI bot there. And this is my script. Ready? Write this down. This is what I say. I say, is it okay that I have my AI assistant record our conversation? I'm not going to post it anywhere. It's just for my own internal notes. So it allows me to be fully focused on you and your needs so I can be present, and it'll take notes for me so I can review back to them later. Is that okay with you? Who's going to say no to that?
Yeah.
And what does it do? What does it do in terms of, can I still be there? There you go. What does it do in terms of setting the expectation with that client that I'm going to be present, what feeling does it create in them? It's a positive feeling, right? So then I take Fyxer, my AI, and I've used other ones, by the way. Again, I've switched over to Fyxer. I've used Otter, I've used Read. I like Fyxer. Like Zoom has its own native one built into it. I like Fyxer because it integrates with my email and it knows what's going on, so it can know the client, right? It takes notes. It gives me a summary, and then I can take that summary and cut and paste it right into my CRM. Right? It can draft like if I discuss in my buyer consultation, I'm going to do certain action items. I'm going to send them a list of something or other. It'll pre-draft that email for what I need to do to that client. Do you see how much more efficient that is and how professional it makes you look so easily as an agent? Bonnie, question?
Yes, Tracy. Hi. So will it reply like Fyxer? Will it reply to like, can it connect to my Lofty? So it'll answer because I'm getting emails in my CRM, plus I'm getting them in my Google.
So as far as I know, it does not integrate directly into any of your CRM's inbox. However, if your CRMs, some of them do integrate with G Suite and Gmail. So if your CRM does that, there probably is a way to do it. I don't know that, because you need what you're describing, Bonnie, is a two-way integration with your email. And so if Lofty, and maybe Wendy already knows this, does Lofty have a two-way integration with Gmail? Like if I write a draft in my Gmail, does it update in the side of Lofty?
No, but I do know follow-up
I think-
box, which I think Lofty is the same. Use your G Suite.
Right.
So when you do an email from your G Suite, it is going to show up in your CRM.
Right. So Bonnie, the way to test it is if you go to your G Suite, like if you go to your Gmail, right? You go to, let me go back here. I'm in Gmail right now, right? If I go to my drafts, these are all pre-written drafts mostly from Fyxer. So if those drafts show up also in your CRM's inbox, like if it integrates both ways, then yes, Fyxer would be able to optimize inside your CRM as well. Depends on your CRM and how that works.
Okay, thank you so much.
So let me show you these links of where to go. There's a few different options for any agent anywhere, right? Because we got agents from all different companies here and all different brokerages. If you start out, this is for any agent, you would go to Fyxer.com. It's the main page. You got a free trial. You log in, check it out. A lot of you I know are EXP agents. So for those of you who are EXP agents, it's actually free if you're a capping agent or an icon agent, right? You go to Fyxer.com/EXP. I'll put this one in the inbox, right? You go to cappers or icons. You click on this button here. You'll get absolutely free access. If you're not a capping agent yet, you click on this one and you get I think it's a 5% discount on the annual thing for this one. And I think you get a 30-day free trial as an EXP agent plus a 5% discount. Once you sign up, right, I've got this nifty FAQ if you want to go into more detailed questions. This is specifically for EXP agents. Once you sign up for anybody, it's going to set you up with this internal pace. And I think I logged in here for about a minute and a half. I looked at it, I'm like, cool, looks good. I clicked the button to integrate with my calendar, right? That's all I did. I said, yes, I want it to integrate with my calendar, and I touched no other settings. And it just worked right out of the box. I got 20 minutes left. I got more things I can teach you, but I want to answer questions. Linda.
I have multiple Gmails. Would it work on all of them or just one of them?
It's a good question. I'm going to say it's going to work on multiple ones. And I'm looking through this FAQ to see if they have an answer on that. I think I had an option. Let me look here at the settings and see. Email. Yeah, you can connect multiple email addresses, it looks like. Yep. You can connect as many as you want, it looks like. I don't know if there's a limit, but yeah, Linda, there's a button that says, I'll show you right here.
Right where you did your email, you could probably
right here. Connect another right there.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yep. I've been using this since March 18th, by the way. You can see there. Adrian.
You said it was free. Is there like a improved version, pro version?
Are you an EXP agent?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so if you are an EXP agent who is a capper or icon, it's free for those agents. If you're an agent at another brokerage, there's a free trial, so you can test it out and see if you like it. And then I believe it's like $30 a month or something like that. See the pricing is.
Okay.
It
So I'm
is
also
$30 a month.
okay, and I also want to. I'm stuck with Outlook because that's what my brokerage uses.
Yeah,
Does it work with Outlook?
it does work with Outlook.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
I will say I've been in some discussion chats, and some people when they set up Outlook, they got some weird duplicating of emails, and then they worked with tech support and it cleaned it up. So I've not heard anyone having any issues with Gmail. I mean, this is still a newer product with AI, right? I mean, this is just emerged in the last few months. It's a British company. There's a lot of big other tech players that are investing into Fyxer. That it looks like this might be one of the big players going forward, but it's AI and it's newer. So yeah, work with tech support if you have any issues, but it does work. It says it works with Outlook, with Google products, with Microsoft Teams. It works with all the major platforms.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, Jane.
I saw you say something about, or no, it was when you showed the list of things, and the list of things had the option of like meeting. So because it works with Google, does it automatically set up a Google Zoom or a Google Meet instead of a Zoom, or can you do Zoom?
You could
or-
have it use either one.
Okay.
But like I have I don't like Google Meet. I
don't either.
This is becoming a very polarizing kind of like iPhone versus Android. Apparently, there are people who really like Google Meet. I don't get it, but they really like it, and I like Zoom better. Yeah, I like Zumba more, but I'll take Zoom. No, that's two of you laughed at that. All right, but I have turned off in my Google like some of you. This is a little tech tip for those of you that are not detail oriented, but just techie enough. When you create a new calendar invite, has anyone had the issue? Wendy, this is you. Listen up. Has anyone had the issue where it drops in a Google Meet and you're trying to put in your Zoom?
Yes.
May I demonstrate what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Does
but
anyone-
when I say make a Zoom, it goes to your Zoom room because I'm connected to you and I can't unconnect your Zoom room. So to Wendy's Zoom room.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so somehow my Gmail, when I try to, or not Gmail, my calendar, Google Calendar, every time I go make it a Zoom, it goes to your Zoom room for our 5:15 call.
That's all right. We'll have to fix that offline. So this is
Yeah.
the calendar invite for this morning. So what I was talking about is this is
Right.
Tech Tuesday Fyxer. You said in my Zoom room right there, but then we've got the join with Google Meet. So that it
Right.
automatically put in the join with Google Meet.
Yeah.
There's actually a way in Google settings to turn that off by default so that it doesn't ever insert Google Meet stuff. And
Okay,
there is a
cool.
way and there's a way to play with that. I can show you.
Right, and I
in
thought
that.
I disconnected it and then it reconnected it again. I was like, shit. And I don't want you guys to be getting my Zoom meetings.
Yeah, I totally got it.
Okay.
Anyway, other questions?
That's
I gave you
awesome.
the links. I told you where to sign up. I got a couple more quick things if no one else has questions.
Oh, wait, someone had a question
Oh, they
that
did?
I guess we didn't
Lon-
talk about.
Lanny's got one.
Okay.
Lanny's got one, then I'll read the chat box. Go ahead.
To sign up, but it keeps saying start my free trial, but I'm mute with EXP.
Yes. So when it says sign up today, start the free trial, just start the free trial. It's going to make you enter your info, and then they're going to apply the free to it after you sign up as a capper or not, because you're an icon agent. It'll apply the free
Just
after
keep
you
going through it.
just keep going through it. Yep. I should have said that. Thank you.
Yeah, how did you get it? Someone asked how you got it to learn how you talk. Like, did you have to say, look at my emails
No.
or plug it in, or
No.
it just looked at them?
Nope. I did nothing to train it other than as I've been using it, it drafts two different responses. Sometimes it was like a positive and a negative, but also sometimes it was like, do you like this version of the wording or that version of the wording? And when I deleted the one I didn't like and sent the one, then it learns in the future, this is how I like to write.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's just as you use it, it trains it automatically. And I'm telling you, I still spend very little time on my email. I still don't like, I've gone back to using it because it's so much more efficient and like 5-10 minutes a day. That's all I spend in my inbox, 5-10 minutes a day.
I love it. Does Autumn like use your things, and
Rarely. Rarely. Autumn still pops into my inbox occasionally, but because of Fyxer now, she really doesn't have to do that much because I'm able to look and see. Like the hard thing was missing the important stuff. I would say 90% of the emails you guys get, you don't even need to look at.
Yeah.
Truly. 90% of the emails you guys get, you don't need to look at. It's about finding the 10%, spending the time on those going to make you so much more efficient. All right. Is this better than Plod? Bonnie, I'm not familiar with Plod. If Plod does the same thing, it's better than Plod for me because I get this for free. So I mean, I in that respect is better. But if you're paying for this, I don't know much about Plod.
No, I'm sorry, Jesse. The AI assistant that you showed, that was something different than the Fyxer, right?
No, that was Fyxer also.
Oh, that was Fyxer also. So Fyxer,
That's all part of Fyxer. Fyxer is three things. It's
okay.
Organizing your email, drafting responses to your emails that you approve before you send, meeting notes, and I guess the fourth one would be calendar integration. It's all four of those. It's an AI assistant. It's an AI assistant is the best way to describe it.
That's what Plod is too.
Okay.
It does everything like you just said, but it's, you wear it as a bracelet or as a necklace or whatever, and you take it to your
wear it as a bracelet?
Yeah. I have it right here.
Now I'm curious.
Oh my God.
Is it because it's recording things?
Yes, it is, and it sets it up. You have different things that you can set it up as a chart or as a to-do list or whatever. There's all different ways of organizing it, however your brain works, of setting it up to get it out to you in an orderly fashion.
That's crazy. So like when you go to a listing appointment, it's listening to everything, and then you go back and say, how could I have did this better?
Exactly.
That's crazy. Does anyone else seeing this picture by that? Where did that come from?
I don't know.
Is that when you started talking about Plod? Is someone hijacking
your night outfit?
I'm just kidding. That was my Skynet reference when you told me you're now wearing technology that's listening to everything and making decisions for us. Oh, we're so close. Skynet. Anyway, go back and watch Terminator from the 80s if you guys don't know what I'm talking about. All right. I got 13 minutes left. Other question. I'm gonna go check out Plod. That's super
Linda,
interesting.
do you still have a question?
Yes, another question. What does it do with, I'm sure there's a category for like advertisements and junk mail. Does it give you an option to, this is marketing, delete?
Yeah. So
unsubscribe?
I'll show you. So
I have to unsubscribe from so many things.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Why are you unsubscribing?
Because I don't want to keep getting them.
I know, but watch. They're going to be sorted to the marketing category. I don't know if it unsubscribes. There probably is a tool. If it's not here, there's plenty of other tools to unsubscribe. But since I'm moving it to a separate folder and I'm never going to see it, why do I care? My Gmail is pretty much unlimited size, as far as I know. I've never reached the end of it, right? Like I could click into my marketing ones if I wanted to. I have 4,900 in there. Like this is my marketing. I don't look at this, and occasionally I look at them because I get cool ideas from my own marketing campaigns. But like, this is my marketing. Why would I bother taking my time to unsubscribe? You see what I'm saying?
Hope this is one of those weapons that isn't used against us.
Right? Like no one knows, John, whether they made the first move or if we did. That was a Matrix reference now. I watch a lot of sci-fi movies. Does no one else get these references? All right. So
I'm a sci-fi person.
There you go. So this is Tech Tuesday. I figured I gotta have some sci-fi people. All right. So look, who asked about Linda? There you go. So Linda, the concept of unsubscribing to me is back to that inbox zero idea, where you're trying to organize and optimize your email. And like, I really feel like that concept is dead because there's no reason to anymore. As long as you're only feeding your brain the information you need, if the rest of it's still there, but it's not having to be bothered by you, I don't care, right? Like, imagine I had a house that had a room in the back. No, how about a purse or a bag? Because it'd be hard to imagine a house. A purse or a bag that's a magic bag that had unlimited size to it. You guys ever seen those cartoons or movies where like the characters got like the magic bag that's like they pull everything out of it? Okay, imagine you have a bag of unlimited size. That to me is what I imagine my inbox is. if I could just pull out the things I needed and throw everything else at Mary Poppins. Thank you, Carol. That's who it was. Mary Poppins. Okay. I just watched it with my kids. So just throw everything in it. If I've got stuff in there that I'm never going to use, doesn't matter. I'll keep it for a rainy day. I'm never going to say it again. As long as I can pull out the stuff on top I want. That's effectively what this is doing for me. And so Lynn says my storage can get full if I don't delete all those marketing emails. Mine never has. I must be on a plan or grandfather. Maybe I'm grandfathered in from but my guess is if I ever wanted to click delete, I could literally delete the entire folder all at once. So
I was just thinking that you could go to your marketing, select all, click delete.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. So there's ways to get efficient with that. Yeah, there's ways to get efficient with that. All right. Ida said, in regard to removing the join through Google Meet, do you remove that from Zoom app or Google? I did it in my Gmail settings. I could probably find it, but I actually here's how I learn anything. I hope you guys know this one, but do you know how to learn anything?
You Google it and watch the video.
Yeah, I Google it, and these days I actually put it into Perplexity because I like Perplexity as a search engine better for learning things. Do you guys know Perplexity? No, you guys know ChatGPT? Perplexity is a version like ChatGPT, but I don't use Perplexity for creating content and things like that. Perplexity I use for deep research and frankly, even normal research. So if I wanted to learn this, here, let's go. Let's find out. Hold on. Let's open up a browser tab here. I got a few minutes. This is fun. All right. So we're going to go to Perplexity. Perplexity.ai. This is a bonus tip here. And I could use voice to text, but I'll actually type it in. How do I remove Google Meet links from being added to Google Calendar invites by default? So you got to get good at figuring out how to word it and ask questions. This is something that you learn. It's a skill, right? You just practice it. If you don't get the results you want, you tweak it again. Let's see what it says. All right. How to remove Google Meet links from being added to Google Calendar invites by default. The process is to stop Google Meet links from automatically appearing, blah, blah, blah. From personal Google account, open Google Calendar in your browser. Click the gear settings, upper right corner, click settings, events, step by step. Couldn't be any easier. I actually know very little these days. I'm just really good at using search engines to find what I need on the fly. Okay. I can find almost any document anyone asks me. I run a fairly large organization. There's about 1,600 agents I support around the country, 1,600. I get asked a lot of questions to find stuff. Okay, mainly it's text messages. Hey, can I get this thing, right? My filing system, because I believe in the external brain, is Google Drive. And I put keywords in the name of everything in Google Drive, that they're these long names of 1 billion keywords, because I never know what I'm going to remember it a year from now, what words I want to call it. I just type in the keywords, it pops up, I send them a link. Some of you I just lost, but some of you probably got that. You see what I'm saying? This is back to the concept of the external brain. I don't want to have to remember anything. If I can find it in Google Drive using keywords I preloaded, fantastic. If I can use Perplexity to teach me, because I removed this thing I did here. I did this over a year ago because I kept getting frustrated when I would create a Google Calendar invite, and Google's pretty smart. It'd be like, oh, it looks like you're trying to schedule a virtual meeting. Let me drop in my Google Meet because we want you to use Google Meet. I'm like, no, get lost, Google Meet. I did this a year ago and within a day forgot how to do it. And when people ask me how to do it, I'm like, I don't know. Let me find. So could just share this right now. Share. Let's see, anyone with link? Hold on, link copied, paste to share. I'll put in the Zoom chat box for you guys. There you go. Now I can just share the link, and you have step-by-step instructions on how to go do that. So Joanna, you want to copy that at chat box so you can do it for Wendy? Yeah. All right.
Is Perplexity free?
There's a free version. I pay for the version. It's like $20 a month because I like to use all the different features. I don't always use deep research. Like it's got a category here of deep research when you really want to go in there. But I like the way that Perplexity it cites its sources, so you can see the links of where they come from. It's a little different than the way ChatGPT does it. And I also use Perplexity for fact checking stuff. This is not a political conversation. I could care less if you're on the left or the right. This is not, or the center, or the outside or the inside, or whatever. There's a lot of misinformation from everything in our world, even outside of politics, health, you name it. I use Perplexity to go do deep research and things. I'm like, that thing makes sense. I'll just cut and paste it in Perplexity. I'll say, fact check this. And I'll put it in and I'll go do deep research, and I can go do my own looking into seeing what something's right, wrong, or true.
I just have to, I have to research, and this is so good. I have to go to Perplexity, even have to pay for it. I've got to research, selling a house with solar panels, and there's some new kind of something you have to disclose. It has to be on some OEM system. So it sounds like if I ask that question, it can tell me what I need to know.
Oh my gosh. For legal stuff, Linda, and by the way, I will say this because this is recorded. If you are a real estate agent, which most of you are, check with your employing broker, check with your state broker before using anything AI gives you. It is not always accurate, but it's pretty darn good. Okay. You want to, like, I've used it to draft legal forms. I wanted to have a release form signed for like this thing where people were going to come, we're doing filming and this, that, and the other. I was like, hey, draft me a release form of this, that, and this state using these legal guidelines. Boom, here's a little legal draft. You send it to an attorney, have them review it. They go, yeah, looks good. Like it's wild.
That's crazy.
All right. Lynn wants to know, can you please show us how to load keywords into Google? Basic, I'm sure, but I've never heard of. So when I say Google, Lynn, what I'm talking about is Google Drive. So let me put my Google Drive on the screen here. Hold on. Is that what you want to see, Lynn? Is in Google Drive what I mean by that? Yeah, okay, thumbs up. So in my Google Drive, let's say I'm looking for my buyer intake form. Buyer intake. Notice it says buyer presentation dash intake form. Because sometimes I say buyer, and then here I've got initial buyer consultation intake form. Because these are all different words depending on what I'm searching for. And here's my buyer consultation form. It's both a script and a checklist. That's a separate training. It's not very techy, but like I found this in seconds because I put all the words into the title of it. I didn't just say intake form because
keywords are in the title.
My keywords are in the title. Some of my titles are super long because I'm never navigating with my title, right? I'm never navigating with my title. I'm never going through folders. I always use, in Google Drive, I'm always using the search feature. That's what I'm looking for. This is back to this concept of the external brain, which I think is probably the most used term if you watch the transcript of this meeting. The external brain is such a good concept from that book, Getting Things Done. And I lean into it all the time. I got 3 minutes and I want to tell you a quick story.
Quick,
I've been in real estate.
I was just
What
going
was that,
to do Google Drive keywords. It works pretty much like using just search and Google
Yeah.
Mail. Right?
Yeah, it's a Google product. And by the way, even if the words are inside the document, it'll find it also. I just like to put it in the title because it gives it more juice for the search when you're using your Google Drive. All right. So before I wrap up, I got 3 minutes. I've been in real estate for over 20 years. In 2013, I took an entire year off real estate. I literally didn't carry a cell phone for an entire year. I still sold houses in San Diego, where I'm based. I lived in Thailand for an entire year. Traveled all over Southeast Asia. Probably should have started with this story, would have gotten people's attention. Okay. I took a year off. I came back with more money than I left with after not working. And I would always say, it's because I'm a systems guy. I spent a year and a half before I left for Thailand putting systems in place, both technology as well as repeated processes that people did. If I were to do it again today, I could probably do it in about half the time because it's so much easier with AI to put these systems in place. What I just showed you with keywords in your Google Docs, like these are the same concepts I've been using for years. It just gets easier with AI because now you don't even have to load with keywords. You can probably just type in like your Gemini search and be like, I'm looking for this document that talks about where I do buyer consultations and probably find it for you, right? I was creating systems, which is a repeatable way to do something. Because for all of you who are real estate agents, you want your life to get easier. You want to be able to sell more homes in less time. Figure out how you can do the same thing the same way every time and make it without having to think about it. Makes your life that much easier. All right. Hope this helps. I know, Wendy, you're diving into VIP after this. Thank you for having me. If anyone wants to chat with me offline, they can reach out to you. You know how to get them in touch with me, and happy to chat, happy to nerd out on any processes and anything like that.
I love it. And I love that you just talked about that Google Drive thing because me and Joanna do so many action plans and follow-up Goss, and we never can remember what we freaking named them. So if we
put every word possible in the title of it.
Yep.
Put every word possible in the title of it. This is also a concept from, I know we're at the top of the hour, but a guy named Tim Ferriss, F-E-R-I-S-S, wrote the book, The 4-Hour Work Week. Another really good book for optimizing and being efficient, and came out early 2000s. And he one of the concepts in there is you never want to say the same thing twice. If you have a team or people you train or clients, your buyers and sellers, how many of you say the same conversation over and over again? Oh my goodness. You want to record it. You want to have a version that's cut and paste or a video, whatever it is. So you just send the video. It makes you so much more efficient. All right. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you,
nice
Jesse.
to meet you all.
Appreciate you.
Bye,
all right,
guys.
guys. See you in the VIP.